You
I was
see
gonna,
anything?
I can tell you about the
Let's
the
start that
dogs
over.
crying.
Let's start that over. We both talked over each other immediately starting.
Okay, and then the dog started crying.
And then Tony's crying. Tony,
He's crying.
you watched any good movies recently? You watched anything good? You seen anything?
I yesterday I watched the 2015 season of Project Greenlight because I was hungry after watching that new one.
Because you were hungry.
And yeah. Because man, that new season is like they kind of like fed that woman to the dogs, low key. Like they commissioned a script that very clearly had a lot of issues, and then they just told this new director like, "Yo, go make that shit." And
Right.
then it's like, like the point was to have a script that could like use some reworking so that the filmmaker can come in and put their stamp on it, you know what I mean, change stuff around and like make it cool or whatever. At the same time though, limited time, new filmmaker, like I just don't think that was the best idea. And so I wanted to see how it happens all the other times. What are the other movies that they do? And the season I was watching, that shit was wild, bro. Like it was like when Buddy came in, he like his mentors were like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and the Farleys. And and this
You mean the
woman
Fairleys?
named,
The Fairleys? Like the Farley brothers?
The Fairleys. Yeah, the Fairley brothers. There we
like
go.
the Dumb and Dumber guys.
I always mix it up. Yeah. So they were there too. And this woman, this producer named Effie Brown, she was there. She's like more hands-on than the rest of them the entire season or whatever. And they interview all these people. They all come in and they tell everybody like, yo, I think this about the script, that about the script. I think we could do this, make this really cool. This one guy comes in, kills it. When he walks out, Matt Damon says, that couldn't have went any better. I was like, oh shit, so they gonna pick him. Like, that's crazy that they played him first, but it looked like they're gonna pick him. Instead, though, they picked the guy that came in and said, yo, for real, I think this shit is ass. I don't know why y'all want me to direct this shit. Like, he came in on some shit like that.
Damn.
I couldn't believe it.
You want to know why? It's because it's still reality TV, and they're like, all right, let's fuck some shit up. Let's throw some wrenches in this.
That's true. Well, so he comes in, he like, fam, I don't like this shit. And the script was called like Not Another Pretty Woman. It was like a comedy, like all this type of shit. He was like, man, I don't want to do this shit. They pick him, and then he immediately, like, I'm talking the same night, like he still got the fit on. They still in the venue, like lights are still on, and he goes to Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and says, all right, so first things first, I want to shoot it on film. So, all right, first of all, okay, that's the okay. I can see what kind of guy you are. Yeah. He said he wants to shoot it on film and he wants to fire the screenwriter. Long story less long.
So he's like, I want to make a different movie.
Right. They don't fire the screenwriter. They do miraculously end up shooting on film. I don't know how the fuck. Wow, he just kept arguing for it and he got it. But the my dog's like crying. I'm sorry, Tony.
I can't hear. Tony, you all right? Tony, everything okay?
It's all right. He just wants to play, but I gotta work.
Gosh. Dogs always wanted to play.
Always want to play, and he's like a little kid too. So it's like, but yeah, he doesn't get to fire the screenwriter though. Instead, he pitches to the screenwriter a script that he wrote on his own. The screenwriter reads it and goes, "Oh wait, this shit hard. Let's make this." And then he gets HBO on board. They're like, "Oh yeah, this script is dope. Like, yeah, let's make this." And this movie is called The Leisure Class. It has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know how dope they think that shit is.
Dude, looking it up. That's crazy, man. That's like kind of the best. That's like one of the greatest journeys I've ever heard. Like, for them to just be like, him just be like, you know what? Fuck this movie. I'm gonna change everything here to make my own movie. And then it gets everyone on board, and then it's a huge piece of shit. We should watch that for the Patreon. Maybe watch that for the Patreon.
The Leisure Class. So before I even saw this season, me and my roommate tried to watch the Leisure Class. We had to turn that shit off. I
Yeah.
couldn't, like, it's such a, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of just like nothing, low key. And I couldn't, so like seeing the show and then hearing all of the producers like lose their minds over how talented and funny this guy was. Somebody even says, like, I think Effie says it. She's like, man, I don't know. He might win me my first Oscar. Nah, twin, he won't. He won't.
Dude, it's so funny. I'm looking. It's like, and that, man, that just has to be so, like, to rise like that so severely, and then to just come crashing down. I'm looking at his Wikipedia right now, and like the only thing he's done is this movie.
Is that movie?
And the last line in his professional life is what you just said. It says, however, after Mann shared the script for a full-length version of a short film he had written, it was decided he would instead direct that script, The Leisure Class, a film that received universally negative reviews.
It's a zero.
What an incredible Wikipedia entry.
It's great TV though, man. It's a great season to watch.
Yeah.
But like,
to check it out. I wonder if this guy's ever going to get more work. It's been
I don't know. It's been some years, man. It's been some years.
The last thing he did, The Leisure Class.
The last thing he did. And they had one of the guys from the Mindy Project is one of the main characters of that movie. And like there's a part where like they almost think they're not going to be able to get him because that's another thing. Well, they don't think they're going to be able to get him because he's shooting the Mindy Project at the same time, and, that kind of stuff. But I forgot. There's a part where they're trying to cast and they're throwing names out there, and I just couldn't stop laughing because one of the names they threw out there was Albert Brooks, and then like I want to say like 20 minutes later, somebody walks in the room like, "Oh man, bad news! Albert Brooks passed." I was like,
"Oh my god, no way! Insane." That's wild.
Oh, man. It's a good season.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should do Leisure Class on the Patreon and really torture ourselves.
Unironically, that might be funny as fuck.
It might be funny. We gotta get back. We gotta get back to the Patreon soon. We apologize to any cursed ones who have been missing our Patreon episodes. We've been busy with getting the main feedback going and starting to get wheels turning for our new format. But some other cool news, if you're on the Patreon, we just learned via our wonderful producer, Mikey, that if you are a patron, you now can listen to our Patreon-only episodes on Spotify, apparently. I think you can see how
they finally did that?
Yeah, they finally did it. So go, if you're a cursed one and you prefer Spotify over any other platform, and that's been one of your, or if you're not a patron and that's your holdout, good news. Good news.
Got something for you.
So yeah, I think there's just like a link for it, or you can, I don't know if it's a private RSS feed like you do in other ones, but there should be instructions on the Patreon. Go check that out. Should we jump into the episode?
Just jump right in? Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it.
Cool. Cue theme song.
I've been watching them for years. It's always been something that fit with all the animated characters that's doing their own bits. With a fry who's in the future and a family guy that sucks. With a father from a hill, a burger family runs him up. The show inspires is the same guy, except he totally say and diverse.
Let's watch cartoons that curse.
Yeah, that's bananas.
That's rough.
What the f*** is up, everybody? Welcome to Cartoons That Curse. You know this podcast, probably. It's a podcast about cartoons that say swears, adult animation, if you will. Stuff you might see on Adult Swim or Comedy Central or 7 p.m. on Sunday on Fox. That's about it. Or, streaming, I guess, because it's 2023. Whatever. My name is Johnny. I am your co-host. I am here with Tunerific Tariq, my friend and co-host. How you doing, Tariq?
What up, though? I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Went to the gym this morning. Now recording this. I'm going to get some stuff framed today. I'm going to get rid of this big mess of bullshit back here in my room and make my room look nice. I hope.
Oh, so you cooking. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I'm changing everything, dude. My life is going to be different tomorrow. Hopefully the next time you see this background, it won't look like shit. We'll see. We'll find out. If you're listening at home and have never watched our video version, my room looks like shit. No, it's not that bad. There's just a pile of junk behind me that I'm gonna get rid of. It's a thing. We are here to talk about the latest episode of Futurama, as we have been. This is the 5th of the season. We'll have 5 more after this. Before we change things up, we've been talking about them every week. I'm sure you've been following along, or at least some of you have been. It seems like you're falling off every week, but that's fine. We're gonna keep going strong. And then when the new format comes out, it's gonna blow your goddamn minds.
Yeah,
and we're gonna win you all over. We're gonna win you all back. This episode is called Related to Items You've Viewed. It is they do a huge thing in this episode. They do a huge thing. They move Leela in with Fry and Bender. They move in. Who'da thunk?
If you will. Yeah.
If you will. How do you feel about Related to Items You've Viewed? Do you like this episode?
I think that this is the best one of the 5 so far. It is the one that, number one, I have absolutely no story issues with whatsoever.
Right.
There isn't a single like character thing that makes me go like, why the fuck would they do that? Like there is like none of my notes or anything like that. I had none of those feelings while watching it. It's not the funniest thing ever, but it is pretty funny. And I think it feels like a pretty good Comedy Central era Futurama episode. That's my review.
It's so funny because I obviously watched these weeks ago. I rewatched it this week for this and for my video. And watching through the first 6, I remember feeling like this one was going to just be a kind of get little reaction. I don't know. Maybe that's how I felt the first time. I felt like this. I was like, I remember watching it and being like, yeah, that was fine. and not thinking about it. Like when I was thinking back about all 6 that I had watched, I thought about this one the least.
Right.
And so I don't know. I guess I internalized that and was like, oh, it's related to items you viewed this week. We'll see how people feel. Like I was just kind of like, I think people are going to think this is boring. But you know what? On rewatch, I think it's a good one. I mean, it's not that I didn't think it was good before. I thought it was solid, but like, I don't know. I thought people would be less interested. Ponyo, you really getting under the covers right now? All right, get under. And yeah, so on a rewatch though, it does feel like they've really got all the characters locked in. It feels like they've got, and it feels like they do a really good natural job connecting. Ponyo, are you digging? Stop. Stop.
This is the dog pod, man. Both of our dogs are taking over this episode.
It's a dog cast.
It's the dog cast. Yeah, this is the dog cast.
So the way that they naturally move Fry and Leela's relationship forward in a way that they probably should have already is great, exciting. And then also a perfect Bender storyline born out of that development. You know, like it's like, okay, finally we're getting Fry and Leela moving in together. That's great. And then how would Bender react to that? And the answer is he would get really goddamn insecure and jealous about it. That's classic Bender. So yeah, it really feels like they kind of just nailed this setup. And they did a really good job. Yeah, I really enjoyed it on this rewatch. I don't know if it's my favorite of the season, but it's definitely moved up my list on rewatch. So yeah, there's that. How do you feel about the Mamazon stuff? That's a question I have.
Shit makes sense to me. Like, I don't know. Like, they kind of were the Amazon. It's just Amazon didn't exist yet, so they couldn't do that. You know what I mean? But that's just kind of what this, I don't know. It just makes sense to me.
It makes a ton of sense. That's the thing is like, I don't know. I see once again people calling this topical because it's Mamazon. And I'm like, parodying giant corporations is not topicality. Like,
Yeah, that's like if somebody did a Disney parody
right,
at this point,
exactly,
you know, or
exactly.
Apple.
It's not
Yeah.
fucking topical.
Because like the iPhone thing was topical back. If they do that now, it's not topical.
Sure,
But back
Amazon's been
when
a thing
everybody
forever.
was getting, when everybody was getting iPhones back when that episode came out, that was topical. But like,
Yes.
but that's not a new thing anymore. Everybody has an iPhone. So
And as we've said before, like, I don't think the iPhone aspect of that episode is the topicality.
Is
That's
the bad
a
one,
problem.
yeah.
Like, that's fine.
Right.
I think that kind of parodying and paralleling real world stuff is what Futurama should be doing. The stuff they shouldn't be doing is like, you have to get a viral video on Twitcher, and we're gonna film Susan Boyle, Leela's secret Boyle, and that's the kind of shit where you're just like, why did this come out of someone's brain? But yeah, so I don't know. Like I think luckily it seems like the reaction to this week's episode, some people still have an issue with that feeling topical, and I'm like, I just don't think you guys understand what kind of topicality is like a real issue. Just it being topical isn't inherently bad. Like, what happens is, what the problem is when topicality dates something so badly that you can't enjoy it later. And like, there's nothing about this fucking storyline that isn't going to be able to be enjoyed in 10, 15, 20 years, you know? And so that I don't know, that just bothers me, is like, it feels like people have gotten this in their head. They're like, they're talking about things that have happened in the real world. They're like, yeah, that's what the show always did. And like, that's not inherently a problem. It's just like, they're just like, they see something they recognize and they're like, topical, bad. And I'm like, just think a little more clearly about this.
A little more colloquial. Yeah. Definitely. I think they do a good job with all of that stuff. The prop design, I love the design of that, like, mom Alexa.
The Invasa.
Thing. The Invasa.
Yeah.
Funny name too.
Funny
Pretty
name.
invasive.
Good name.
Like you say it in your video, but Mamazon is kind of sweaty. They didn't have to do that.
A little bit. I know. Some people like it. I've gotten a lot of comments that are defending it, and I'm like, it's fine. I just don't know I just don't know if we needed it. Like, we already know Mom's got the companies. Like, we've got, she goes by Mom Co, Mom's Friendly Robot Company, like Mom's Friendly Delivery Service. They've got all these names already in the show of her stuff. So I don't know. Exactly. I guess it's fine that there's another one, but I don't know. I don't know if we needed it to be that direct.
But
like,
is
Mamazon
this just
doesn't
not
mean anything? It doesn't, yeah.
That's my thing. Is this just not Mom's Friendly Deliveries? Like, is this not the same thing? You know what I mean?
It seems like it seems like it's basically
a warehouse.
The last time we really saw them deal with Mom as a delivery rival was Future Stock with that guy. But even that was kind of the first time they had established Mom was a rival delivery company. They had like, before that, it was like, Mom is just Mom's Friendly Robot Company, and there's all these, and like it was all robot related stuff before. And then in this one, they're like, she's also got a rival delivery service, and she's like this big monster that we have to try and take down as the little guy. And so, yeah, I don't know. I do think it makes sense to have that keep evolving over the course of the show. That's what Amazon did. Amazon started when it was originally a website that just sold books. That was it. They just were an online bookstore. And then they slowly expanded into new things. They started buying other companies and started buying other websites. And they've become this giant fucking corporation that owns everything ever.
Right.
And that like completely tracks for what Mom was in the Futuramaverse. So I don't know. It makes sense to me. I really only have a problem with the name Mamazon, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Like the warehouse stuff, you know, that is like, I guess you could argue that there's topical aspects of them, you know, talking about Mamazon warehouses, because Amazon warehouses are such a fucking hot button issue. And they make the joke where he's like, and you can pee, and you can pee in bottles, and which is like something that those workers have had to do because they can't fucking leave. And that's a good joke when they're like, why do you need to pee? He's like, I don't need to. It's a great joke.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think that stuff all worked great. I thought it was a really smart evolution of her company. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was cool. And like, it's not like
Yeah.
they're not delivering stuff with drones yet. That's still futury, you know?
Right.
Right. Man. So I'm trying to think what else I really want to talk about with this episode. I talked about this a little bit in
Oh,
my video. So go ahead.
we did bring it up when we talked before, but this is the best looking episode of the
Yes.
season so far, I believe.
Yeah. You know
I
what?
sincerely believe that.
I watched these all so quickly that I didn't really even like the first time when I watched all 6 of them. I didn't really clock. I was just so like, oh my God, new Futurama, that I was not like, I wasn't being as discerning. So I don't know. I guess I had seen this one and the next one last, and those probably do look the best of the first 6. So when people started talking about like the show doesn't look as good in these first few episodes, I was like, in my head, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then when rewatching the first few, I'm like, oh yeah, some of this is not quite as dynamic. It's not looking quite as good. This one does look fucking good. It feels like they do a lot more dynamic blocking. It's like the shot that I use in my thumbnail that I stole of Fry and Leela looking at the mom is on screen, and it's like they're like in the shadow. There's a really nice lighting in that where they're up front on this part of the screen and like here, and they're looking at it here, and it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of this looks really good.
There's that shot of when mom is like, it's like, hey, do my slaps feel different? And she like slaps everybody like in unison. That is the best bit of character acting I've seen in all 5
For
of these.
sure.
That shot looks great. There's a lot of like you said, like great like blocking dynamic, like compositions and stuff. Yeah, man. Even watching it a second time, I was like, this is still pretty. Like I said, this is still a good looking episode.
The amount of stuff they've got going on in the warehouse was impressive. I feel like we hadn't gotten a single thing in these first 5 episodes that had that much going on in one place, and it all looked really good. Like, yeah, it just feels like there's just a little bit more happening in this episode. Yeah, I really appreciated how it looked. I'm excited to rewatch next week's now, because that was my favorite of the first 6, and I'm like, oh, and I feel like that one looks good too. So I'm excited to like revisit that. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we will.
I laughed really hard at like how instantly devastated Bender was. Like, he's such a drama queen, and this point, it's like it's gone over the edge so far that everyone's just kind of like, okay, all right, Bender, we got another Bender breakdown.
Yeah, the professor.
Yeah, it's like, here we go. But I laughed really hard at what he was like, his specific complaints about losing Fry, and he says, Fry and me, we had everything, cabbage fights, everything.
It's so funny. I love that.
Such a good line. Also, just incredible delivery from DiMaggio. That's like a perfect line delivery. Everything. It's so good.
Man, speaking of great deliveries, what is Professor call Bender when he finds out he's in trouble?
The amazing Meccano Man. So good. So I fucking love that line so much, and especially it's nice because he was like poo-pooing all of Bender's like drama queen antics earlier in the episode. It's like, they're still like, they still all love each other. He's gonna go help Bender. Right. That's so funny. The amazing Meccano Man.
Man, the professor is just one of those characters where it's like it's borderline impossible to make him unfunny. I know. Like, it's like I was watching. I'm writing a video on Alila of her own.
Hell yeah!
And I got a minute.
That was born of this podcast. That was born of this podcast.
That is born of this. The intro to the video is specifically about this podcast.
Hell yeah!
And when I got like a minute and 30 seconds in, and I had to pause it because I was laughing so much, just because it was all because of the professor. He was so mad that
about
like
because he's racist in that episode.
He's racist, and they move across the street, and they make that restaurant, and then like Leela just says like you know, like the world isn't going to get better unless we all pretend to like and tolerate each other. And it's like, so what do you like? Let's go down there and be nice to them. And he just says no, and it cuts, and he doesn't come with them. They go by themselves. It's so funny.
It is funny when they make him such an old man.
He's such an old.
It doesn't
racist
feel like
man.
it doesn't feel like they do. It feels like that's the one real instance where he's like, I won't deal with someone of another species. You know what I mean? Like he's got his old manisms, but I feel like that's the first time where it's like, oh, he's being racist.
Right.
Man, I love the professor. What a funny character.
He's great. He's so funny.
And he's 172 at this point or whatever. He's so old.
Because when he go back to that aging thing, he comes out
he's
older.
even older. He's probably
comes out
180, 100. He's probably close to 200 at this point. Jeez.
Yeah,
Although we don't know about the events of the Impossible Stream from Meanwhile, whether or not those fudged their ages in any way. Yeah. So impossible to say. How'd you feel about Sweet Vampire Moses?
Sweet Vampire Moses is great. It's funny. It's a good one.
I love it because it's obviously a play on the old like Sweet Zombie Jesus, but they had like repeated that line before. They had just had him say Sweet Zombie Jesus before. Jesus. And I'm like, yeah, it's funny, but it was never as funny as the first time. And then this time, I'm like, oh, this is such a fun way to
keep that
expand
alive,
this. Yeah, just do other monsters plus biblical figures.
right.
Yeah.
There's a few jokes in this that I feel like are like quintessential. That is a Futurama joke. If somebody said it to me on the street, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's 1000% a Futurama joke."
Right.
There's when Hermes says like, "We gotta deliver some crap to the moon." And Leela says, "What kind of crap?" He says, "Bull." Of course, they will be delivering bull crap.
Yep.
That's a Futurama joke for sure. And it's gross, but it's so funny when when they get the box in the mail and Fry's like, diarrhea medicine. Did you order this? And Leela says, no, that's not my brand.
It's not my brand. Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, man.
Great lines. Oh, and they brought back We're Doomed.
Yeah, they did. I feel like
We're Doomed.
I think it's... I like the Doomed thing initially. I feel like every time they try to do it a different way, I'm kind of like, oh, I care a little less every time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because what does he say this time? What does Bender say? It's like, now it's my turn, Doomed, or something like that. Yeah. I don't know. It's fine.
I think, what is the first time that happens? Do you know?
Let's look. Futurama Doomed.
Because my favorite one is with where it's like him and like Goldbender and they say Doom in unison.
Doomed, yes, in unison. Yeah, they get together. Yeah, I do love that.
This is great.
Infosphere, Bender, runners. What do they call them? Catchphrases.
Catchphrases, I guess.
Doomed. Oops. Nope.
Let's see,
I don't know.
let's see.
I can't find it. I'll find it later. It's pretty early. It's definitely pretty early.
Think,
yeah.
Because the example I just gave is still Fox.
Yeah, that's the end of the Fox era. That's one of the final episodes of the Fox era is the Farnsworth Paradox, and such a fucking banger. I love that episode so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is good stuff. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the moon. It's so funny. I know that they just it works so well and the series has landed because they're like, it is funny for them just to be like, what's the moon like now? Oh, they just put a fucking amusement park up there, and that's it. And then you got the moon farmers, and then that episode's so great because the moon is so uninhabited that it's about them finding the lunar lander, which we see get fucked up in this episode. That was a bummer.
Word.
But they find the lunar lander, and that moment is so great. And just like Leela seeing what the moon meant to him through his eyes, and to her it's like this whatever, I don't give a shit thing.
Right.
But I know it's funny. I feel like I would have expected other future stories or series to like really make the moon a whole place. You know what I mean? Because like really what we have in the moon is we've got Luna Park, we've got the farmers, the farmer and his 3 beautiful robot daughters, right. and then in Silence of the Clamps they introduce Aldrin's Gulch, that like the little settlement, the like, which is funny because I was also thinking about how that's like feels like an Old West settlement. And we just did this Old West episode
yeah, sure.
here. And like, all the Old West stuff was on the moon already. Although the farmer doesn't feel like the Old West, he feels Southern. Like, I think that's true. He's got like a Southern vibe because he's wearing a hat that says "The moon will rise again," which is a play on "The South will rise again." I
didn't notice that hat. That's funny.
He's worn that in every appearance, I'm pretty sure.
That's funny.
But I don't know. It's funny. I was kind of blown away. I went back and looked at Silence of the Clamps the first time they went to Aldrin's Gulch, and like all of these tiny side characters that you can see all the way in the far distance of the one establishing shot of Aldrin's Gulch. Like there's a guy riding a bugalo in the distance. There's a couple guys standing off to the side. All of those tiny background characters are sitting in on the fucking meeting that they're having about Mama's in this episode. Yeah. Like, damn, they really pulled all of those characters. They pulled every
one of them.
One.
The buddy. You just said his name too. Damn. The one that's my dog is like distracting me.
You want to pick her up? Like, pick him up? Is he gonna chill if you hold him?
Nah, I think he wants to like go out. So can I open the door? I think he wants to go outside.
Yeah, do it.
One sec. All right.
Get outside, Tony. Go have a nice time.
There you go, buddy. There you go, buddy. All right. Like I was saying, trip to the moon. The moon mascot. He says, when mom comes up and says,
crater face.
Your crater face. When mom comes up and says, it means a lot to me to be able to be a part of this moon community. And then he says, why don't you go to hell and be a part of that community? Killed me.
It's a great line. That's a great line. It's really good. You know what I was also thinking about? I didn't talk about this in my video, but like, is Craterface just a person? Like, it's a mascot. but we never see them outside of the fucking suit.
Sure.
And like in Craterface's first appearance, Bender shoves the beer in their eye, so it like implies that it's a mascot, but they just never leave the costume. It's funny. And then that is also that's an homage to what's it called?
Trip to the Moon.
Trip to the Moon, yes, exactly. But it was in French. Voyage de la Lune or whatever. Voyage de Lune. I don't know French.
Did you happen to see my review of A Trip to the Moon on Letterboxd?
No, I didn't know you watched it.
It was because I've seen A Trip to the Moon like 3 times. I had to see it in school, obviously, but then like it's just on Max. It's on fucking HBO Max. You can watch A Trip to the Moon whatever you want. Me and my roommate put that shit on, and I just thought it'd be funny to get that shit like a 1-star review. I think my review says like this shit is ass, or some shit like that. It says something like that.
I love that. And that's so funny.
I want to be on the record. It's like, man, I don't know what's going on with my Letterboxd account, but for some reason, nobody is letting me have any fun. I think when I posted that Trip to the Moon thing, somebody was like, "Oh, come on, are you serious? You can't hold a film to these standards." It's like, shut up.
Let me do my bits. Let me do my bits.
Let me do my please. That's the whole reason I got that account.
That's why I tend to put my actual feelings in the star review, and then I just write jokes as my I just watched Gone Girl for the first time. Shout out to Mikey. He had a screening of Gone Girl for his birthday. I had never seen it. Great fucking movie. But
that's the one.
It's so good. But my review was these people are a little bit problematic. And I'm like, it's like, I don't know, like I feel like some people would some people watch the movie and that is what they think. I don't know, man. I'm just like, can't we appreciate stories that are dramatic? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are we really gonna make a fucking moral judgment on every character and have that be what we judge a movie on? You know?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah,
You could say these people are pieces of shit while also saying, yeah, but this movie is fucking dope.
Fucking
you know
rips.
what I mean? Yeah. Because Gone Girl is the shit. That shit is dope. So did you know what Gone Girl was about before you saw it?
I did mostly know. I knew. Okay. I knew the premise, but also like really vaguely. I had absorbed through osmosis the premise, and I even watching it though in the first half before the big reveal of what's actually happening, I still felt like, even though I was in my head, I was like, I think this is what it's about, and I think we're gonna get that reveal. The way they build it up had me thinking and questioning it the whole time. I was like, what is this fucking movie about? You know, and I didn't know anything that happened in the back half. And so like the big resolution, there was a point in the movie towards the end where I was like, oh my God, I hope this is how they end the movie. That would be fucking incredible. And it's exactly how they end the movie. And I was like, oh my God, this movie's fucking perfect. I love it so much. I love it so much.
Fam, full disclosure, I did not know shit about Gone. All I knew was the title, and I knew Ben was in it, and Tyler Perry.
Oh, that's right, because your review is that's what Gone Girl's about.
I did not know whatsoever, and the whole time watching it, my jaw is on the fucking ground. I was like, whoa, like. Cause I told you the whole reason I watched Gone Girl was because my roommate had never seen E.T. and I could never convince him to watch it until I said.
So he was like, "I'm gonna make you watch Gone Girl."
Yeah, until I said like, "Look, you can make me watch whatever the fuck you want as long as I get." Because I wanted to watch E.T. bad. I was like, "Look, we can watch whatever the fuck you want as long as like you watch E.T. with me." And I was positive he was gonna pick Barry. But he didn't, because they've been trying to get me to watch Barry forever. Like since we moved into the house.
You like Barry? You should watch Barry. You'll like.
I believe them because they say the same shit. Ed says that he feels as though if there's any season of Barry that I would like the least, he feels like it's the first one. But he thinks that like I would fuck with the rest of Barry.
It's just worth watching it all. It evolves in a crazy way. It's good. You should watch it. It's really great.
Just might, just might.
Back to like your perceptions of Gone Girl, though, I was laughing because the same night I watched it at Mikey's, I went out. My cousins were in town. Basically my two cousins and their significant others, and so basically all my cousins. They're all cousins, and we went out, and I was like, we were drinking, and I was like, I just watched Gone Girl for the first time tonight. You guys ever seen Gone Girl? And my cousin-in-law, I guess, Dan, was like, he was like, nah, dude, I don't watch that shit. And I think his perception was like, because it's called Gone Girl, that it's like a chick movie. You know what I mean?
What fucking year is it?
And I was like, I don't know. I think that was like the idea he had. And I was so funny because I kept thinking about that all night. And I was like, why did he react that way? Does he know what that movie is? And the next day I was like, dude, do you know what that movie is? And he was like, no. And I was like,
no.
Here's
I don't know what that shit is about.
And I was like, here's, and I gave him just like a broad stroke. So like I didn't spoil anything, but
of course.
But he was like, what? Holy shit. I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, dude, the guy who made Fight Club made that. You know, like it's not I don't think it is what you think it is. Yeah. Anyways, Gone Girl's great. I'm about to like do a Fincher-thon because I haven't seen all of his movies, and every one I've seen I fucking love except for Alien 3. But that's not his fault. Right. And so I'm like ready to just fill all the gaps and watch all of the ones I have.
Like
and he's got a new one coming out this year too.
Oh, does he really? What's it? Which?
It's called The Killer, and it's coming out on Netflix. Sadly, I really wish he wasn't making movies for Netflix, but he's probably getting paid good. So good
eating good. Yeah, like I told you before, like the only two I went through his filmography after while me and you were talking, and the only two that I had seen were Gone Girl and The Social Network, which is Social also Network my rips. Shit. That shit is gangsta. I fuck with The Social Network. That shit is hard.
I've seen only Fight Club, well, Alien 3, but we like that barely counts. It was the first movie ever made, and he quit in post production because they were really trying to control him in that movie.
So yeah, that's legitimately not his fault then.
Yeah, and then I seen Fight Club, which I saw in high school, and I feel like if I would rewatch it now, I would like it differently than I liked it in high school. I've seen Social Network, Zodiac, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and now Gone Girl, and those are all of them I've seen. And I feel like I've watched all the ones I'll like the most. I'm excited to watch his other ones, but I feel like I've basically seen all the ones that are like cool, suspensey, murder thrillers, and that's like the vibe that I love him for. And my favorite of the ones I've seen is Zodiac. Zodiac is fucking great.
Zodiac is another one that my roommate begs me to watch.
Dude, and you should also watch The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. You will like that movie. That movie rules. Have you ever seen the trailer? Do you remember the trailer?
I might have, but I don't remember it.
It's set to like Immigrant Song, which is the I think it's a cover of it, but it's the Zeppelin song that's just going dun da 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 dun da dun da 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 dun. You know that song? I'm sure you would have heard it, but it's cuts between so many different things so fast. It's just like
it's one of those.
It's a trailer that is all vibes, which is my favorite. I'll send you the trailer. But also, Mikey just sent me the other day. I'm sorry I'm blowing you up, Mikey. He sent me the other day. He cut a trailer in that style, but of Austin Powers, and it's the same. Oh,
that's
thing.
probably awesome.
And it's so funny. I'm gonna make him send it to you. It's so funny. It's so funny. He's got to post it on YouTube.
My favorite trailer has always been the second Kingsman.
I don't remember it.
They use My Way by Frank Sinatra.
Oh, nice.
That shit is gangster. They like the way the musicality of the whole thing, like that shit is dope. If you want to know if anybody listening wants to know the inspiration for my AMVs in my videos, it's whatever the fuck that trailer is.
You know what trailer? Sorry, we're doing a trailer tangent now. We'll get back to
trailer tangent.
You know what trailer I always fucking loved, and I never even watched the movie because I heard it was pretty ass, do you remember the trailer for Vice, the Adam McKay movie about Dick Cheney?
No, I don't. But I know what Vice is.
That trailer rips. That trailer is so fucking good. It's so good. I'm gonna send it to you now. It's so good. And I was so excited for that movie, and then everyone hated it so much. I was like, I'm gonna hold off. I'll watch it eventually, and I still have it.
Did you hear about? I might have brought this shit up before, but did you hear about how they? I think it was Drive. Somebody sued the film company because of how misleading the trailer to the movie was.
Dude, that shit needs to end.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You gotta calm down. It's all right. I promise.
That's insane. That's so stupid.
It's so stupid. It's so dumb. Everybody get over it. Like, yeah, I mean, when I saw the trailer for the Lorax as a kid, like I thought that shit was gonna be like, I thought it was gonna be some other shit. Then I saw it and it was poop. But you know, I didn't try to sue Illumination for it. I just made a YouTube channel.
I'm gonna sue the studio because they made the movie look good.
Right.
And it wasn't good.
And it wasn't.
Yeah. It was wasn't it it was Yesterday that's potentially, because the trailers for Yesterday, that movie about the guy who wakes up and the Beatles the trailer has Ana de Armas in it, and Ana de Armas has these like fucking insane fans. Like people, they are obsessive about it. And she got cut from the movie. She's in the trailer, but she's not in the movie. And so these fans all went to the fucking movie and she's not in it, and they threw a fit. and they're also trying to sue for misrepresenting the movie.
You can't.
And that's like, and that seems like it's working out better than you would hope for. It's crazy.
That is kind of wild though, that you cut a motherfucker out the movie. And
I know.
That is wild though. I will get him some bail on that, because that is.
Granted, she wasn't in the movie much, and I think she was like playing herself. She's like playing herself because she's on a talk show, and I think what they said is that like the scene, Actually, what I heard was that the scene, it's basically him playing a song on a talk show, and she's the other guest, and it's
Mm-hmm.
so and that there's so much chemistry between her watching him play this song and her like just being enamored by it that it confused people watching the movie why they didn't continue anything more with those characters. And so they were like, we have to cut this, it's like fucking up our movie.
It's
So like
fucking the movie.
they maybe make the right move, but man, those
Yeah.
Armas fans aren't gonna live you down.
Fuck.
Crazy.
What do you do, man? Yeah.
All right, let's jump back into Futurama.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to I've said this a million times. I'm so fucking tired of them ignoring that Farnsworth is Ignor's dad. Why?
Yeah.
They're together. They're standing next to each other.
If there is any issue to take with this episode,
and there's even the next episode has like an opportunity where they could have done something with that again, and they don't. Like, I'm just like, they're just it's like they don't even remember that was part of the story. And I don't understand. Like, I don't know, I guess I don't know how they would have, like, I just wish they would fucking make one acknowledgement of it.
Yeah, because that was my thing, was when watching the episode, it's like when they walk in the room, all Farnsworth has to do is like, hey son, or so, like, it's just like a stupid throwaway line, right? But like, you know, it doesn't even have to be anything.
Joke about it the way you joke about how everyone forgets Nibbler's Nibbler's talks. Is like, just have have Ignor be like, hey daddy, and Farnsworth like, who are you talking to? Or something, you know,
I don't know this man, you know what I mean?
Something.
Right.
I don't know. And also, like, you know what, as much as many issues as I have with Bender's Game, the end of that episode, or the end of that movie, when they connect, is really, I think that moment's really nice, and it's really funny. I love, because the whole thing is, I don't understand all the fucking details of this, the thing with the crystals or whatever, but Ignor eats one, Farnsworth eats the other, and them getting in close to each other is what, like, eliminates it's like fixes whatever problem was in the thing. And so they hug in order for that to happen, because one of them ate one and the other one ate the other. So it brings their story together, and it brings whatever nonsense was happening with those crystals. But they hug each other and they start giggling, and then Ignor just goes, we eated the crystals. I thought that moment was so funny and like nice. It's a nice Farnsworth moment, you know? But man, it's frustrating. I just like, he's part of the Farnsworth family tree, man. He's related to Fry. He's related to Cupert. Give me some Cupert Ignor stuff. I don't know. I could rant about it forever.
Yeah.
That's okay. One other thing I noticed. This is small and inconsequential, but they show Mamazon Primo is the like Amazon Prime video service, and it's got all the shows that are on Hulu in the first episode. I'm like, wait,
I thought I was tripping. So all of these are just like, there's no original programming, either there's no original programming, or they like share programming. Like there's like a like a Hulu Disney Plus thing going on, maybe.
You know what's funny? So there's an old, there's like a puzzle Futurama game, and someone commented this, and I didn't really think to look it up till right now, but there's a puzzle game called Game of Drones that's a Futurama mobile game, and someone told me that game was the first place to use Mamazon Primo, and I'm looking it up now, and it is. That's a game that came out in 2016. Mamazon Primo, literally Mamazon Primo warehouse, Mamazon Primo service. Crazy.
Whoa, wait a minute. Whoa, so they didn't even come up with Mamazon for this one?
No, they came up with it 7 years ago for a fucking...
What the fuck?
For a fucking mobile game. Also, this
is a weird cartoon.
They're using... it says in this story that... This is weird because this is a puzzle game, and I guess it has a story. That mom is using mutant labor in the Mamazon warehouses in that instead of robot labor. So that's an interesting change.
That's wild.
I gotta look at this fucking Game of Drones thing.
Robot labor makes
closely.
more sense though, because like, you know,
Yeah, they're robots.
and
Automated shit. Yeah.
right, and she's known for the robots too. So like, you know,
Right.
it all adds up to me.
That's exactly right.
There is a funny enough, there is a show on Amazon, well, Freevee, but there is a show that you can watch on Amazon Prime called Primos. So I thought that was funny.
Not Oy Primos. Oy
No.
Primos. Not that one.
No, not that
that's
one.
funny. Amazon Primos. You can watch Amazon Primos on Amazon Primo.
Amazon Prime. Yeah.
That's funny. But that is crazy. That's kind of nuts that they
That is
had the
wild.
name
That's wild
Amazon
as
that
fuck.
long before. I wonder if it was a coincidence or if they really look back and were like, we're going to use that.
Aren't those? I know that they advertise the that like Simpsons tapped in clone as like having involvement from people that actually like did
Right.
the cartoon. I wonder if there was kind of something similar going on with that game you were just
It
talking
does say that
about.
the Game of Drones story, it's got writers, including Patrick Verone. So like,
Okay.
must be.
So he could have just remembered that.
Some of these other writers are like the people are like the game designers get credited as writers, and then Patrick Verone. And they did that with like the old Futurama game too, that had writers on it.
Right.
And you know, like I remember going to play Futurama Worlds of Tomorrow, the last mobile game they did. Yeah, and that's the one that like it has some cool cutscenes at the beginning, and the advertising has a bunch of fully animated cutscenes. But there's like you have to play through so much of the game to get any story, and it's just like story that's being like written to you. You're just reading what's happening. So I need to just read like a fucking I don't have the time to play Worlds of Tomorrow. Yeah, it's interesting though. And it's literally just like a game where you're just rebuilding New York, and it's got a lot of microtransactions, and I'm not interested.
Yes, because all the Simpsons and Family Guy both have games like that.
Right.
I was addicted to the Family Guy one when I was in high school. One day I just saw my friend with it, and she was like, "Yo, this shit funny as fuck." And I looked at her phone, and it was fucking Peter, Cleveland, like all of them just kind of like scattered all over like the town. I was like, well, what is this shit? And I had it on my phone, and then one day I found out that I had no more space on my phone. I went and checked, that bit was about 3 gigabytes. I was like, okay, this has to leave my phone.
It's gone so long. Yeah. I really liked the whole sci-fi idea that the Mamazon warehouse and Invasa kind of become self-aware, and then like they've got the self-replicating nanoparticle, so it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I thought that was cool. I thought that was a cool idea, and then I liked seeing it get so big that it just became a second moon. I called that out in the trailer. In my trailer breakdown, I called that. But also just it's funny that they do that, and then all of a sudden all the fucking the gravitational pull brings all the waves up, and the whole world is flooded basically.
Right.
And but
you know
the
end of this with the Mamazon continuously expanding. It was brought to my attention by my good friend Nintendo that this is relentlessly reminiscent of an episode of Phineas and Ferb that I had forgot about.
I have gotten probably 6 to 10 comments about it.
Really?
People are like, this is a riff off of Phineas and Ferb. Yeah. I've never seen it. I'm not a Phineas and Ferb guy, so I don't know. But it sounds like it is, and you know what?
It doesn't pay well to be a Phineas and Ferb guy, but it is a funny cartoon, and they do exactly what happens in this episode. They build something. I don't remember what it is. It's like something that's meant to contain them and their friends,
right?
And then but they can't get out of it. They built it too smart,
right?
And it traps Phineas, Ferb, and their friends. And then Phineas goes, wait a minute, you're supposed to trap all of our friends. We have friends all over the city. Matter of fact, we got friends all over the tri-state area. Matter of fact, we met an alien before, so we have friends all over the universe, and it just takes over everything.
The whole thing.
Yeah, and then everybody just leaves after. They're just like, all right, well, that's good enough for me. Shit, I want to go home, and they just all leave.
I think it works so great for this story because I like once they expanded beyond the ship and you could see that they just like expand into they get put into the warehouse. Hey, chill, Ponyo, come here. But once they did that, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of see where this is going. Like the resolution here is going to be the full expansion, and then like there's that moment where they think they're all going to freeze to death. You know what I noticed on this rewatch that I didn't notice before is, actually it was when I was watching my video edit was when they're standing there and like they it's blotted out the sun and they think they don't have much longer until they're frozen to death. Everyone's standing there, but Zoidberg is on the ground, like shivering, and it's because he's fucking cold-blooded. It's because he's cold-blooded. It's like scientific. It's like fully scientific the way they do that shit.
Yeah, they bodied me with that one. I didn't get. Okay,
but
I like that.
I thought it was funny. I don't know. Like I feel like Fry and Leela have said goodbye on that balcony of the Planet Express building a dozen times. Like they did it in Overclockwise when Leela like leaves. They did it in Farewell to Arms when they think that they're about to die because of the whatever, the Martian calendar or whatever, end of times. It's not on the balcony, but they say goodbye to each other and Into the Wild Green Yonder right outside. Like they just always saying goodbye to each other right there.
right. Yeah, for sure.
But I loved the idea that it expanded beyond the whole universe is so funny to me. I think and I think it's such a good commentary on Amazon because it's just like, yeah, we all live in Amazon now. Like Amazon is.
I love Amy too, just being the one person like, well, it's convenient. Like, who gives a fuck? Like,
right.
The whole time, Amy's just like, it is convenient though, guys.
Yeah,
like, it's fine.
Yep. Yeah, and I also think the like resolution with Mom, where she goes in to try and stop Invasive because she's lost control of it or whatever, and then just realizing, oh wait, we're still like profiting from this. We're still getting all the money from this. You're just doing this because you are a rampant AI that's out of control. Okay, cool.
Right.
Fine. Great.
Yeah, whatever.
Cool. That sounds good to me. Yeah, I think that's really funny.
Also, the Trust McNeil sounds great.
Sounds great.
As Mom,
she's such a good fucking voice actress.
No age at all. Like,
yeah.
It sounds like this is an episode from 20 years ago.
You know what we didn't talk about? The Fry and Leela sprucing up the apartment together montage.
It's great.
Great. It's great. This is the kind of shit we need from Fry and Leela's relationship. Is not like, we don't want, oh, they're going to break up. Will they, won't they? It's going to fuck up everything. We need, they are a couple now. What kind of things happen to couples when they move in together, when they live together, when they, want to have kids, when they all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Stupid couple fights. There's
exactly
when he buys those stupid chairs. And he's like, they're for my egg-shaped friends. He says, those guys aren't your friends, they're bums. So you got a problem with my bums, huh?
So good. I love that a lot. And then like when they're having this argument about it, and Fry just for a moment is like, damn, maybe we shouldn't have. Maybe we made a mistake and we shouldn't have lived together. And Leela's just like, no, this is just a couple moving in fight. And I'm like, yes, exactly.
This is regular.
Yes. And that's a great moment where he's like, I'm glad I'm having it with you. It's good. It's so good. I love that shit. Good, solid, strong episode. And then at the end, Bender coming back around and just them being excited to all live together. I like the last shot where he's hugging them on top of the cardboard boxes. Right. Yeah.
I do think that it's just really funny that instead of, I hope Tony sniffing the mic does not.
He is.
Up.
I can hear it.
It's so funny. I do think that it's funny that instead of moving into Leela's apartment, they go where Bender already is.
I know, and you know what? I anticipate it's because they know Bender's history of like insecurity, jealousy, like his whole like when they lived together before and Bender moves out or whatever. Because of the antenna, like there's all that stuff.
Right.
I think they knew that it would destroy Bender like this, and so I think that works. Although I'm curious to see, like, is Nibbler gonna live with them? Like, where's Nibbler at? Is he just,
Right.
yeah? And it was interesting that she didn't move any of her stuff in. She just brought a suitcase.
She brought 2 briefcases.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I know. It's great.
Formal ass moving.
All right, you got any thoughts about this one before we wrap this up?
Last line that I have written down that I really liked that I didn't bring up was when Fry comes in with the note and he says, "Read it and weep," like I did.
Like I did. You know what? And that reminds me of another line I really liked. Is when Bender is talking about why he's going to work at Mamazon, and he goes, "And if a couple hundred of those robots get girlfriends, leaving me alone and devastated." So what? It's like the way it's another incredible John DiMaggio delivery. He's like, it feels like DiMaggio hasn't missed a step. Granted, he's like probably one of the youngest of all of them. But yeah, great stuff. Good episode, man. I don't know if it's my favorite of the season, but it's up there. It moved up a lot this time. I'm excited to rewatch these, and I'm excited that in 2 weeks I get to watch a new episode that I haven't seen yet. Because
Right.
I wish part of me kind of wishes I had been on this journey along with everyone exactly. But I'll have 4 episodes for that, so it's exciting.
Yeah.
Good episode. I like it. I'm a fan. I don't have many other thoughts. You got anything to plug? Let's just plug your Alila of her own video that's not even out yet, because it's gonna be great.
Yeah. It'll be out. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know when it'll be out because of sponsor approval stuff.
Oh, sure.
But it will happen because it is written like Nas. It is written. So it will happen.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, you could check that out Monday Jackbox, I guess, because we don't play Monopoly that much anymore. But stuff like that. And yeah,
sick.
I
make videos on my YouTube channel. You can watch those. And that's about it. Let's wrap it up. Sorry, this is probably our shortest of the new Futurama season, but you know what? We've been delivering.
We did tell y'all it was going to be short.
Long ass episodes about one. We've been delivering you hour 20s about a 25-minute episode. You're welcome. Here's a mere hour-long episode. So
here's
sorry.
A mere hour. Sorry, we're getting lazy, guys.
Yeah, we're the worst. And with that, I want to thank Carrie Feek for our artwork. I want to thank Jake Neutron for our theme song. I want to thank Michael Yunez for producing and editing the podcast and co-hosting our After Dark episodes. I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank Tunerific Tariq for co-hosting. I want to thank Tony for cameo appearancing this week. Ponyo's on my lap too. I'm not going to mess with her right now though. She's also here. And also all our cursed ones. Thank you so much. Check out the Patreon if you want bonus episodes. We'll be getting back to those soon, but there's like 30 to 40 available already, and they're good. And thanks to all of you. We couldn't do it without you, but also thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Look at the camera.